Okay.
It's been a long journey, so I'm glad we're finally over here.
No, so yeah, earlier before the screening, Chuck was telling me that you've had like over 50 versions of this
Hindi
film.
naman.
Or after seeing it right now, do you still feel the urge to change things, or are you finally at peace? At peace?
Never stops, di ba?
Alright. You have to stop at some point, Lloyd. This is a movie.
Well, I don't believe in stopping.
Raquel, you wrote this movie. Maybe you can tell us a bit about the inspiration, about the writing of it.
This was conceived in 2015. That's when Lloyd and I started talking about the concept. No? It just started with one scene, actually. Lloyd said, I have this scene of a woman coming to an island. And actually at the time, iba pa yung concept. May kasama siyang bata ba?
Yeah.
No? Na may handicap of some sort. And that was the seed. And there was really no story, parang ano lang, may nakita lang siya. And as I was trying to develop the story from that seed, I said, Lord, alam mo, mahihirapan tayong mag-casting niya ng isang batang may handicap. Parang, number one, papaartihan pa natin siya. Number two, baka wala tayong makitang ganyan. So, because it looked like it was difficult to base a story on that, I kind of, revised that scene. Of course, it was still about the woman coming to the island, but I thought, what if she comes back to the island with her husband's ashes? And now, what is she going to do with that urn of ashes? Ano yung kwento doon? Bakit may dala siyang ashes? So from there, ayan na, nag-evolve na yung naging sentro na sa story ng babae na dala-dala yung ashes ng asawa na. Yeah, that's how it started.
Chuck, can you tell me how it feels to work with a director who is never satisfied with the cut of his film?
Sobrang happy ako, syempre.
Ross, you shot this medyo matagal na, no? Since
Matagal na.
So, I mean, anong feeling mo yun now that after seeing it after all these years?
Hindi ko alam ang mararamdaman ko actually kasi 5 years. 5 years yung after shooting. Tapos ngayon, halo-halong pakiramdam kasi seeing Missionary again and Miguel, parang it's a bittersweet feeling.
Ito na lang, anong pakiramdam masampal ni Sherry?
Mas masakit kasi full force, hindi siya nag-hold back pag manampal siya.
Yeah, let's just go to the audience. Does anybody have any questions for the people in front here? Anybody? Just raise your hand. I'll go to you. I'll run to you. Anybody? No? Up there. Okay.
Or just say it. For the benefit.
Sorry po. Thank you so much.
So, good evening everyone. My name is Raven and I'm from the film Twitter community. Yeah. So, okay. Just a general question now for everyone. Like, what's your favorite scene from the film, and like, what do you think was the most challenging to shoot? Yun po.
Let's do the one where the church scene.
Wait, teka lang. Let's let them answer. Sorry. And yeah, maybe we can start. What was, as a writer, what was your favorite scene that you wrote?
He kept
It's-
changing it, so.
Yeah, well, it also depended on how the scene came out. You know, finally on screen. I enjoyed, sige, let's just say, what scene did I enjoy writing? I enjoyed writing the Zoraida scene. Remember that scene, yung pinag-away niya yung dalawang foreigners, no? That was Mara Marasigan as Zoraida, the pregnant island girl, and the foreigner was Paul Holmes, who's a repertory actor. Nag-enjoy lang ako doon kasi that was the first establishing of Shiri being shown as having a malicious spirit inside her. No, and it was really the foundation, if I may say foundation, for what she was going to eventually do to Vilma. Yung sinetap niya si Vilma para ma-rape ni Seryo. No? Parang pinakita natin na, meron palang ganung si Celine, Dr. Celine. Meron pala siyang mean spirit, and that was just to show how she really looked down. How she really looked down on number one, the island girls, number two, ayan, yung kasambahay. No? So I thought it really showed a lot of the establishing of Shiri's character. So I enjoyed doing that.
Siguro yung favorite scene ko, yung bumisita si Celine sa shop namin. Sa shop ko, nakasama ko yung mga barkada ko. The rape, the pseudo-rape na ginawa namin. And I remember her telling me na, Ross, you're such a gentleman. Kasi kahit na nire-rape ko siya, natatakot akong masaktan siya. Kasi si Cheryl, hindi ako makatikit, ganyan. Pero I have to go through the action.
Like, favorite scene, Lloyd?
Ang dami eh.
Just name one, Lloyd, it's fine.
I actually like the scene, yung monologue ni Shiri. See, that was like 6 monologues. That was like 6 times. Parang we never
After the
really.
Ernest lost?
Yeah, after the Ernest lost. That was done all in siguro mga 30 minutes. Pero sunod-sunod talaga.
Ilang takes in though?
There's 6 of them. Yeah.
6 takes?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
But literally one after the other. Like, so we were finished with it in 30 minutes. Ang maganda kay Shiri was that mabilis siya eh. And she really, when she's in the moment, she's in the scene, she really is in the scene. So I loved it all.
Let's go to another question. Yeah.
No.
Go, Chuck.
Anong
No.
favorite scene?
Okay,
He's an editor. Who
Yes.
cares? He loves all of them.
Yes, I love all of them. Yeah, for 5 years. I've been acting that, you know. All the way in the back.
Hi, my name is Jason. I wanted to ask about the architecture. I think that the house itself is a character, especially with how you frame it as a sort of labyrinth for Celine's grief and also her own wrestling with the loss of her identity, I guess, kasi pinubenta na yung bahay. I guess, how did you tether that into the narrative, and how did you go about looking for your location?
Wait. Was there another question there in the back? Or can we let's just take the question kasi pabalik-balik tayo. Baka mapagod lang
Mag-line
kayo.
up na kayo.
So let's just take the second question. We'll try to answer it all together.
Are you answering that?
We can go together.
Hi, I'm Christine. I was wondering about the story, the logic. If she was carrying the ashes and he died, and then later on she comes back here, and then there's a dialogue there that, okay, she comes back because she has to bury the husband's ashes. Why carry it from the United States. I mean, how did she get those? It doesn't
Sige,
make
I'll
sense to
answer
me.
that.
Yeah,
So
let's answer that first.
Please
Sige.
explain.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, sige. Omnibus na, omnibus.
I have a question. Sherry Hill's love for Jasper was kind of a motherly love, or love with has a sexual attraction, or is that something she did as a revenge for the infidelity her husband did?
All of the above.
Give na. Let's get that microphone down. I guess we'll start with the practical question about the ashes.
The ashes.
Ashes first.
Yes, I'm sorry you missed the explanation for that, no? Because in one encounter, the scene after the dining room scene between Sergio and Celine, Sergio says, "Why didn't you tell me at the wake in Manila that you were coming here?" So which means what happened was Shiri came from the United States, went to Manila to attend the wake, and brought the ashes to the island. Ayun, nagtataka si Serge, bakit hindi ka pa sumabay sa akin, di ba? Bakit hindi ka pa tayo nagsabay? Because apparently, of course, Sergio would be at the wake. And Celine says, I just remembered that Paeng had asked me in the past to throw his ashes into the sea. So she came from Manila. She did not come directly from the US.
And he died in Manila.
He died in Manila. Si Sergio died in Manila. Obviously, the townspeople of the islanders we're wondering, I wonder what he died of. Ano kaya? Diabetes ba? Ano ba? Because he didn't die there. He died in Manila. Remember, the house was just a weekend house. It was not as if they were really living there. They were based in Manila.
Let's get to the question about Celine's attraction to what's Jasper. Yeah. So, what kind of love? What was her motivation? Do you think?
You know how emotions can be so complex. Diba? There is the complexity of pangalan ko doon? Si Jasper.
Jerome.
The complexity of Celine's emotions for Jasper. Number one, she never had a child, and she looked at Jasper like he could have been my son. And then suspecting pa that he's the illegitimate son of her husband. So all the more parang, oh, he could have been my son, number one, diba? Because there's the virgin of the milk. She was offering the picture of Jasper to the virgin of the milk. There's an illusion na, pwede pa ba siyang mabuntis? Siyempre, hindi na, no? But there's this longing, there's this empty womb inside that needs to be filled, and Jasper fills it because he could be the son that she never had. Number two, because she's still romantically attached or affectionately attached to her husband. Siyempre, naghahanap din siya ng, alam mo na, love, affection, romance, and all, which is why si Sergio was coming to her and saying, what about you, Celine? You know, what about your pleasure, Celine? Diba? And she says, oh, I can take care of myself. But, you know, she's also seeing Jasper as a possible, love interest. Kasi, ano siya? Attractive. Si Jasper. Diba? Parang naging apple of her eye.
But I think that's the, to me, that is the core of the character of Celine. And then I think, in a way, she can be any of us. Because we don't really know where our love begins and where it ends. Sometimes you create an illusion of love para ma-fulfill yung desire mo, no? I was in love with that person. And maybe that love does not really exist or never did exist, but somehow you create it in your mind. And I find that was the case with Celine. And I fell in love with that idea. So up to a certain week, we kept pushing na talagang, is Celine in love with Jasper, or is she in love with the idea of being in love with Jasper? Kasi hindi sigurado si Jasper. I mean, it's not really sure if Jasper is the son, no?
Yeah.
But the problem is when somebody's dead and you want to memorialize that death, you will do whatever you want, to create you have that bond. And I think Celine just did that with Jasper.
And the other question was about architecture. I'm actually curious about this myself, Lloyd, because tell me if this is fair. Or you seem attracted to stories about families that have their best days behind them who live in an old house.
Because we have so many old houses that we can get for cheap prices.
So, yeah,
So you create that story. Because if you're going to go to Mahalang Forest Park, huh? And Forest Park, you cannot do Forest Park in New Manila. It's gotta be in Forest Park, and that's going to cost you a fortune. So forget that story.
Let's actually get to the practical question he asked. Like, where did you have a location first? What did you look for a house that looked especially like that? Or did you have this house first and then you wrote a story around it?
No. We looked. We knew that the house was going to be
Ancestral house.
an ancestral house, so we had to find that one, and then we found it in San Miguel, Steve De Leon's mansion. We tried a couple of. We looked at different houses, iba-ibang style. Some of them were from the 1930s. Pero I think if it was going to, I believe, or at least I believe myself, that you create your story based on what you can afford, or what is available to you. And I knew that house, that was easy to fulfill. So that's why we ended up with that. I guess it's the same thing with Nino and same thing with Larawan. But there's something about not letting go, or trying to hold on to something, which is I think very, very Filipino. We cannot let go of things.
Yeah, like the movies again. I don't know if this was ever an intentional recurring theme, but these are stories where the setting becomes a reflection of the decay within the family itself. Like, is that something you actively think of, or is it just like old houses are cheap? I can make a movie in an old house.
No, I think for me, everything in the film has to be part of the story. In this case, the house is very important. At saka maganda siya, an old house that's in ruins. It's so Pinoy.
Are there any more questions?
Try to get, I don't know, we have what? Let's just go one last question, I guess.
Hi, I'm Joe. I would have a question about the character of Celine. She's very complex. For us as audience, do you intend for us to feel sympathetic for her given she's had loss recently, or do you want her to be deplorable for us? And was it intentional na she didn't get to redeem herself in the end?
I'll answer that first. Yeah. I think it's up for the audience to feel for her. It's your character. You were the one who absorbed the story, so you have to make a resolution for yourself. You have to solve it yourself, because somebody else's feeling for her will be different. I actually like that idea na iba-iba ang feelings. I cannot ask you to think such as that, because your way of thinking of life is different from the other person. And I think I love the idea that she is very, very complex. And we actually made her very complex. I mean, ang dami namin yung dinagdag sa storya.
Yeah, you can't control, di ba, what an audience will feel for the character. Some people will hate her, some people will love her, some people will feel sorry, some people will say, oh, she deserved what she got, and all. So nasa sa inyo, I mean, kami as the filmmakers will not impose anything on you. It's really up to you to realize or become aware of, hey, what am I feeling? What am I feeling for this character while you're watching? Diba, some characters will make you cry, some will make you angry. Another person beside you will react differently, maiinis siya or whatever. Isa naman, matatawa siya. So really, we're not going to dictate that to the audience.
Okay, yeah. Sorry everyone, we are running out of time. There is another screening following this. I think they will be outside if you have any more questions, so you can just ask them. Thank you all for coming. Good night.